Welcome to Your Business Without Borders. It's time to simplify your business so you can scale up, make more, and work less. This podcast is for creatives, innovators, risk takers, and rule breakers who are ready to push through traditional boundaries, make a big impact, and have more fun and freedom on the road to success. Now, here's your host, Natasha Mitchell.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Business Without Borders. My name's Natasha Mitchell, and in today's interview, we're discussing what are the missing pieces that are stopping you from reaching your clients as you start to build your online business. If you've ever felt like you're creating content, you're showing up consistently, but when it comes to driving your clients to your website or actually making a sale, then somehow you're missing the mark. I know I can relate to that. I've struggled with this too. So stay with us today because today you're going to discover a few inside secrets that are going to make all the difference. My guest today is my good friend, Nancy Fields, and she's the owner of Fields Graphic Design and host of the 10-Minute Monday Tech Series, which is amazing. She's a WordPress website and graphic design expert, and she combines her love of color and page design with her editorial experience at magazines like Glamour, Mademoiselle, and Weight Watchers. She's got this really unique gift of being able to bring out the best qualities in her clients so that others can see their strengths. And you definitely need that in a web designer. But unlike a lot of web designers out there that are going to charge you an arm and a leg to set you up with a website that you can't actually use, and then they go and vanish, and it really is not helping you to create and generate business, Nancy works really collaboratively with her clients to not only build beautiful websites, but then she shows you how to use them so that you can do all your own regular updates, which is going to save you time and money, and you don't have to rely on a designer every time. But I think the most important thing, because of her amazing background and skill set, is that she helps you create websites that actually helps you build your business. And she does that by giving you a strong online presence with all those important things like the best practices in WordPress, SEO, and online marketing. So welcome, Nancy. I'm so glad you could join me here today.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, Nancy and I met a few years ago in an online marketing program. That's sort of the history of how we've become friends and collaborators. And that program was all about online launches and how to get your product launched. And there was really great content in that. And we both learned a lot about sales funnels, about the tech, about how a launch works. But as we started to put this into practice for ourselves and for our clients, we started to notice a few common barriers or blocks that were coming up. And a lot of beginners were facing this. They didn't have an audience, right, Nancy? Or they didn't have a lot of followers. People were told you've got to create content and show up consistently. And people were doing that, but it didn't seem to be driving traffic to their website or their offers. So they were sort of stuck at this 0 point and spinning their wheels. And the third barrier was always the technology. There's a lot of moving parts to a launch and doing a business online. And so technology was often a barrier there. So there are a couple of the things that we started to observe. And we started to think about maybe there's a better way to do that. So, just to bring Nancy into this conversation, Nancy, we know that there's never been a better time to build an online business right now. We can't go out of the house, or a lot of in-person things have been canceled. And I know I have, and I know you have been getting a lot of questions about how to do all of this. But of course, not everyone wants to spend $10,000 like we did or more, or immerse themselves in a year-long program. So what do you think is missing from some of the current teachings in this whole area of online marketing, online launching, especially for people who are new to this?
Well, what we learned and how we were taught to begin to build our list and to build our following is the same thing that I have heard from many other people who I've spent a lot of money to learn from. And I thought, we were talking about what's the problem here. And the problem is that, you're taught to create content and you're taught, to engage with your audience, but if you don't know what your audience first wants, you end up putting out content they don't really care about. And then you end up wasting all this time developing great content that nobody reads. So in a way, you've got to start with the end in mind. Just as I've done every other graphic design, what is it you want? Well, if you want to attract clients, what do your clients want? So figuring out what they want is the missing piece. That's where you start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know when I started this S.I.M.P.L.E, I was told, you've got to be creating content. And what happens when people don't find your content, you start to feel like your content is bad or it's not helpful. And that's not always the case. Really the main issue is people can't find you. So what I heard you say from that is it's really about turning the order around. Don't just start by putting out content right away. The first step really is find out what people want first, then start to create content that's relevant, and then, build the relationship and build the list.
Yes, and actually it's a lot of fun. In a way, it's like, I've got to do the research, but I'm telling you, you will spend a fraction of the time figure out what people want and figure out what words they're using if you do a little bit of research, and it is easy. And it's really eye-opening.
I love that. I love making things simple. I like making it just like so easy for people to get up and running in their business, because frankly, we don't have time to be sitting around spinning our wheels on things that don't work. So one of the things I've heard in the past, they've said, look, if you want to research what your clients want or your potential clients want, ask them, run a survey, go into a group and ask a question. And I've done that, but there's more and more competition out there in the market. And to even get people to like or just like a post is hard enough, let alone get them to write a comment, or let alone to take another step and actually answer a survey and take time out of their busy day. So when we talk about researching, how else can you find out what people are actually searching for? And I think you're going to show us some examples of this now too, Nancy.
Oh, I'm happy to show you now. In fact, what I want to show you is that this happens to be a blog post, and I'll also show you the post itself. But it's a blog post that when I went into my Google Analytics, Google told me at the time I was getting 300 hits a week consistently for over a year. I thought, wow, people want to know what's the right size image for their website. And this actually came out of a real world problem. Mm-hmm. And so what I did, though, to even boost that further is that I put a video on the web page. And when I put the video on the web page, I went from 300 hits to 1,800 hits in 2.5 weeks, which is the time that it takes Google to search all the new content on a website. And I also put this little, video link here, just a little link saying, here, click on my video, it's on the page. So now 2 months later, I'm at consistently over 600 hits a week on that. And it's all about, I have Google Analytics on my website. And it's a code that's put on my website, and Google Analytics will show me what people want on my particular site. But if you don't have that yet, what you would do, you do a very, very simple Google search. You'd go to google.com, and then right in this box here, type something in. And so let's type in free offer. And the minute I type in free offer, then look at, here's this drop-down menu. So immediately people are looking for free offer online, application. This, first of all, it gives you really great information. So I'm going to click free offer online. And the next place that will tell you what people are actually typing into Google is people also ask. Mm-hmm. This box here, how can I get free stuff online? This is what people are typing in. So when I click on this, Google then also gives me their favorite post, which, oh, by the way, happens to be up here. It also happens to be right here. And you can see, get free stuff online. Someone's typed in, or more people have typed in, how can I get, look what they have in their title, get free stuff online. So Google is matching what you are typing in. And that's what they're in the business for. They want to give you the best user experience. So if you want to know whether people are looking for, what they're typing in to find out what you're writing about, start here.
It's interesting because we hear it, even in this conversation, we've already started using a lot of jargon and keywords that can sometimes feel like just second language to us when we're immersed in this, Google Analytics, etc. But look, when you're looking at this, and if you're wondering what kind of content should I produce? And it doesn't matter what area you're in. You could be a relationship coach, a business coach, maybe you're a musician, maybe you're an artist. It doesn't matter. And you're an expert in a particular field, and you think, well, I've got a lot of knowledge to share about how to scale a business and how to create an online business, or how to project manage, a project in your business. I've got all these different pieces of knowledge, but before I create a piece of content, I can literally use a search, and everyone, you don't have to be techie, everyone knows how to do a search on Google these days. You can just start typing in some of these words and phrases and see if searches are coming up. And I can see you have a couple up there, Nancy, how to create an online business. Let's see what happens when we click on one of those, or how to create an online business website.
Exactly. So there again, so these are, when you say ad, there's a paid ad, but then there's videos, and then you start seeing what people are searching for, also related searches. There again, you stay on the simple page of your Google page one, successful online businesses. So these are things that people are also looking for. So you're saying, okay, well, what do I want to write about? What do people want to know about? Mm-hmm. And then answer one question. And really answer it well, and just answer one question. Don't give them a book, and if you can just give them one great answer that they can put into practice right away and get a win, that's what they care about.
Yeah, and that's what you did. If you can go back to your example, Nancy, which was the right size image for your website. I mean, you're a web designer. You help people with graphic design. You help people with creating content. But you discovered that actually resizing images was a real problem that people were facing time and time again on their website, on their Facebook pages, any social media. And so you created this one little micro piece of information, and it's getting all sorts of traction, right? You're already appearing on the first page of Google, which is a pretty amazing result. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, it was such a surprise. There again, I hadn't, I'm guilty, like everybody else. We get really busy, and I hadn't checked my analytics for a while, and someone said, go check your analytics. I went, whoa, this is amazing. And yet at the same time, what actually made me check my analytics, I got a phone call out of the blue from someone from another state who said, I'm having problems with my website. Can you help me resize the images? I said, how'd you find me? I said, I found you online. Tell me what article you chose, what you looked at.
Right.
And this is the other thing as well, is there's a lot of information out there for you and for people, but he understood my article and I spoke to him. So then we had a rapport.
Yes.
So that's something as well. So what you do and how you write is going to attract the person who's probably going to be your perfect customer, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. The first issue is we've got to attract their attention. Once we've attracted their attention, then they decide whether they're the right fits. And everyone has a different personality. So you might not be for everyone. There's probably other articles out there which are how to size your image, but it's just how you wrote. It was your branding, your look and feel, like all of those other things then start to build the pieces of that puzzle as to why someone will take that next step with you and buy from you. And we're not going to go deep into that today, but I really just did want to point out a couple of things. So what we did there was we did a really basic search, keywords. I'm going to call it keyword search. So there's a bit of jargon, but keywords that people are looking for. You did a really basic search on Google and you found out the kinds of things people were looking for. then you started to use those words in your article headline and also throughout your article. So even if people are not techie, we're talking a little bit about SEO and Google Analytics, but even if you're not techie at all, even that most simple step could really help you get a piece of content that was able to attract your potential client, at least to read something you've got and become more aware of you.
Yes, and the other thing which you pointed out, very, very important, the headline. So, even if you don't have the exact words people are typing in your headline, so this is called the H1 tag. H1, it's like the first headline.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Google reads. Google's also reading your URL, and this is what's telling them, oh, this is what the site's about. Then they also read your subheadlines. So your headlines and your subheadlines. And then if you put a video on, it's like, bam, you've got some traction.
Yeah.
And of course, it also has pictures in it as well.
Yeah. I love how you break all of that down. And, again, there are a few things behind that, but the whole Google searching, SEO, and Google Analytics, we're just talking about that, but people can often get like really intimidated by that before they're even starting. But when you start to break down the pieces one by one and you start to learn the basics of that language, it's really not as difficult as you might think it is. And also all of these tools right here that we're just talking about are free, basically. So
yes, that's the amazing thing. And when you think about it, most people type in a problem. I'm sure you do too. When we go to Google, we're looking for an answer to a question that we have, a problem, question. So it's using common language. So the whole idea of keywords. Keywords are just the words that people are using to type in to get their questions answered. Mm-hmm. And that's why, it used to be, one word or two words. No, they're called long tail. People don't search for one word. They search for, their issue.
Right.
Like this, how to create an online business. I want to know, how do I create an online business? That's what they're typing in. They're not typing in online business, or they could be online business, help me, but help me with what?
Right.
I want to learn how to create it.
Yeah. And Nancy, while you're on that page, just scroll down. So we can see the related searches, for example, or in some of the other pages we say people also search for. And once you know some of those words, then you can start putting them into your content.
So now what I did, I just checked on successful business. Suddenly I check on that, and then we get a people also ask box. Mm-hmm. Again, this is pure gold. What is the best online business to make money? So there again, if that's what you're talking about, is, if you're talking about online business, is that what you're speaking about? And if it's not, well, then find another question that people are asking. If it brings up a people also ask box, once again, gold. So here we have, the title of the article is 27 proven and easy to start online business ideas that make money. But somebody typed in, what is the best online business to make money? So Google said, okay, I have an article for you. And they've also researched the article, and they know it's got a lot of good content in the article. So Google's saying, we are recommending you start here, which is interesting because, we spend a lot of time trying to get on page one, but ultimately this people also ask box is relatively new. It's a little over a year old. But so Google's saying, hey, we're going to tell you what we think is the answer to your question. But look, online business, money, make money. So, best. So the word best isn't in here, but these words, online business and make money, are there. So they said, boom, here's your match. So there again.
So easy, right?
So easy in a way. So that's why, speak the way you speak so that you can attract a customer who can learn from you and understand what you're telling them.
Mm-hmm. And, Nancy, in this short discussion we're having today, I wanted to make sure that we're showing people what the first step is, but also debunk a little bit of this super scary tech language like SEO, keywords, Google Analytics. They're really actually pretty simple tools. And for the most part, if you can do a basic search on Google, you can do a lot of this yourself. Nancy, I'm wondering if you could just show us on one of the slides you have is your article. Then you also have some statistics that came out of Google Analytics. And we're not going to go and do a deep dive on that today, but you know, the problem is generally this for people. Firstly, they don't know what it is that they need to write about. So we have decided you need to do a keyword search and you need to include those keywords throughout your article in the headline and in the body. Then we want to know whether people are actually seeing what we've written and whether it's making a difference. And that's what we use Google Analytics for. It's kind of a dashboard of, or a summary, if you will, a summary of all of the interactions that people are having with different pages. And you've got an example right there, which is showing how people were interacting with your site. And can you just, you know, explain a little bit about what was going on in that chart? Because sometimes people see a chart and they're like, I'm not techie, I don't know how to read charts, but tell us, you know, can you give us the translation of what those numbers and stats actually mean?
Yes. So you can see below the word users, it says last 90 days. Because I knew that I was getting 600 hits, but I wanted to see over the last 90 days what was happening. And this chart then showed me. So when you get into your Google Analytics, it's just you type in a word, say, well, I want to know what pages people are looking for. And you type in that into Google and up will come your top 10 pages and it'll tell you how many people have looked at that page in a week. Or, you know, in fact, you'll see here, last 7 days. Can you see the difference there?
Yes.
Hard to see, it's in gray, but last 7 days, this is last 90 days. So the last 90 days gives me, that's why I thought, oh my heavens, the last 90 days, there was a huge spike. It's like, whoa, 1,800 people were there, and it'll give me the exact date. And when you put something on your website, the Google robots scan every website in the world. And so because there's more and more websites going on every day, they say it now takes Google, they think about 2.5 weeks to scan and read everything. That's what they're doing. They're reading, they're trying to, you know, match the words so that they can give you the best user experience. So therefore, when I first posted this in the beginning of July, it did take almost 3 weeks for it to get to 1,800. So that's also an indication that that's true. The robots, it takes them a while, but the robots are also, the Google robots are also searching YouTube, and they're searching your YouTube information. So now they're marrying the YouTube with what's on your blog. So they're saying, boy, you know, this blog has the blog, it's got the headlines, and it has a video too. So it took them 3 weeks to find out that I had all 3 pieces on my site.
Yeah. And, you know, if you'd written this article and you'd come into your analytics and, I mean, you've had really good reach on this article. But if you hadn't, you might say, well, maybe I need to change the headline on this and give it another try. Or maybe I need to add a video link in it and give it another try. So sometimes sitting here as content creators, online business builders saying, I don't know what's working. No one's seeing me. Let me just do another whole brand new piece of content, instead of really saying, is what content's working, what's not, and what you can do to make small changes that might actually then get the content being more visible and more searchable, really, right?
Well, exactly. And I think you just gave a great tip. So if you have an article, even if it's getting 3 or 4 hits a week, you know people are searching for it. And so take that article and put your headline in Google Analytics and seeing what else drops down. So, you know, put it right into your Google bar. Put that headline in, as we have done as we've done before. You know, google.com. Put your headline right in there. Type in and see what blows up underneath. Say, well, is that what I'm writing about? Because maybe you'll realize, gee, that's not what I'm writing about. That's not what I want people to know about. Yes. And then you can then rethink what you're saying and or put more information into your article. That's also a great way to get more engagement as well. Just, you know, add more words. In fact, they're saying now for the average article, that what Google is ranking up. So, when Google does, say, this is the article that we think that you should look at because we have, we've outlined it here.
Yes.
1,700 words. So then again, the articles are longer. So, add to your article, add some headlines, add some copy, just keep adding. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And then the question is that what you want to write about? Is that what you want to bring people in to your business to serve them with?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where, I think why you and I have collaborated so well on this. I mean, clearly just in this short example, we see how knowledgeable you are with all things Google and website and SEO and keywords. Where I come in on the business side is more about how do we do things more efficiently? And, the marriage here is absolutely this. You can write one article, and when you get that article right, I'm saying right, but on the keyword searches, then you can just start using that article in many different ways. So then you can start cutting it up into a social media post. Then you could put it onto YouTube. Then you might use it in LinkedIn. Then you might use it on Facebook. Then you might create a Facebook ad about it. Now we already know what's working. So now we can, what I like to call leverage it. Get a lot more eyeballs on your material because we know that's what people are searching for. We can expand or contract our content as we need to, but we're not writing brand new content all the time. And that's one of the real barriers that I see with people trying to continually create content. It's really exhausting. It's not a good use of your resources. And again, if you're not creating content that people are looking for, it really doesn't matter. And from the conversion piece, Nancy, I think your article was a perfect example. Someone was looking really, what I often find from a business perspective is we are trying to give people what they really need, but that's not what they believe they really want. And there's a difference between that need and want. Someone thinks, oh, I just need to resize their image. But their bigger problem might be the whole layout of their website could be wrong. The copy could be wrong. But it doesn't matter how much you tell people of how to write great copy on a website. If they think their problem is their images, you need to meet your client where you're at. That's where they come in the front door, and then you can start to educate them on the other piece. So I just kind of want to put that out there from a business strategy perspective. It's really easy when we have tons of knowledge and tons of content. We say, we know what you need. Well, we do. But that doesn't mean that's what you're searching for as a consumer, and it doesn't mean what your clients are searching for.
That is so true. And the other tip, Natasha, that I heard, that you can also do your video last, in that if you have a blog post that that's working, what I was told, I think is a wonderful tip, is, so you're not going to read your blog post, but you're going to say in less than a minute what your blog post is about. Mm-hmm. Say, I wrote this blog post, and so, and you tell them, what tip they're going to get from it. It can be 15 seconds. That is enough.
Yeah, that's just such a powerful tip. And we're getting towards the end of our conversation today, but I did just want to share a few nuggets from what we've talked about today. A lot of the information we're telling you about today is really simple, but it's the pieces that are really, really overlooked. And, I think, again, given how much Nancy and I have immersed ourselves in all of this learning, it's just interesting to see where experts actually start the path. And there is often an assumption with all this online business stuff that you already have a lot of that foundational based knowledge. And that's not always true. And I was talking to someone today on another interview, and we were saying that in this time of COVID and everything coming online, we need some time to adapt and adjust. And it's okay to be what I like to call an absolute beginner. It's okay to be there. And that's what Nancy and I are really here to help you with. If you're an absolutely beginner, if you've had success in delivering your content in person and helping people in person, there's a very good chance that you're able to help people and provide a service in an online way as well right now. And we want you to be able to do that. We want you to be able to get up and running quickly and easily. We want to fast track you and say, look, there's 50 things you could learn, but if you know these 5 things, that's going to be a really good start. And once you've got that down, then we'll give you a bit more advanced concepts. But even with these 5 basic things, you can make really, really good progress. So again, Nancy coming with her super guru website, SEO, graphic design, all of those elements, and me coming to the table with how do we make this super simple? How do we fast track this? And how do we build businesses? We have decided to come together for a very special collaboration, and we're putting together right now a brand new masterclass series, and it's going to be launching towards the end of 2020. And so we don't have a final launch date yet, but we're working on this. And just wanted to give you a sneak peek to let you know it's going to be called The Absolute Beginner's Guide to Client Attraction. It's going to be a several-part masterclass series, and we are going to be breaking this down. If you didn't think you were techie, think again. If you didn't think you could create an online business, then think again, because we are going to be taking you step by step through this. We're going to show you how to do these keyword searches. We're going to show you how to set up some basic SEO. We're going to show you how to set up a Google Analytics dashboard so you can see what's happening. And if those 3 tech words just made you glaze over, don't worry, we keep it all fun and user friendly. And then we're going to take you the next step and say, right now, you know what you're doing. Next step, then we're going to help you create a free lead magnet or free client attraction tool. And then we're going to take you into building the foundations of how to create an email sequence to start to build that relationship with people. And those might be things you've heard about before, but they're just the basics, and we're going to help you get those basics right. And then you can move on to the more advanced stuff. So just a sneak peek. We're going to be launching that a bit later in 2020. So if you want to hear more about that, I'm going to leave a link below. You can email Nancy and I, and we will be able to share more information when that is ready. So I'm always the chatty Kathy in this group. Nancy, we've covered a ton of ground today. What's one last piece of advice you have to share with anyone who's thinking about building an online business and has been holding back for a variety of reasons?
When I remember 30 years ago, I bought my first computer and my first program, which was called WordPerfect, if anybody remembers that. And the computer came and the WordPerfect came, this big manual, and I went, where do I start? So I called the smartest person I knew, who was also teaching me WordPerfect, and he said, go to the bookstore. Now this is really old advice, but it still applies. And he said, go to the tech section and ask one question and pick up every book and take the book that speaks to you. Today, you got a question, go to Google. Get your answer. Find the person who speaks to you and have them teach you, have them take you step by step by the hand, because otherwise you can go down such a rabbit hole and you can waste so much time and then want to throw up your hands and give up. Don't do it. Just because I think that Natasha and I are going to be great, giving you some great information, but there again, find somebody who speaks with you and let them show you how to do it, and then run your business.
Yeah, that's great advice, Nancy. And we would love to help you do that. there really is never a better time to get started with your online business. And frankly, if you don't start today, tomorrow there's never going to be a better time to start your online business. The world is moving into very much more and more everyday online service delivery. And if you want to have a business like that or add to your existing business, then we would love to help you do that. We are super friendly, we're super helpful, and we do like to make these complex things just easy, because they don't need to be. They don't need to be overly complex. They just need to be broken down and explained in a very easy to use way. And that's what we're here to help you do. So thank you, Nancy, for joining me today. I really appreciate that. If you want to connect with Nancy because you want to resize an image, or you've got a bigger website plan in place, maybe it's creating a new website or updating your existing website, you can visit Nancy at fieldsgraphicdesign.com. I'll leave a link in the show notes. And I really do recommend, if you want to hear some super valuable tips, sign up for one of her 10-minute Monday series, which she has every Monday. Always great information. And of course, if you want to connect with me on how to scale your business with ease, then you can visit me at Inspire and Drive. You can download my simple business blueprint or schedule a discovery call. And don't forget, if you want more information on our upcoming masterclass, you can email us at info@inspireanddrive.com, and the link is in the show notes below. Well, that's all from me for this week. I'm Natasha Mitchell saying thank you for joining us in Your Business Without Borders. Now let's go break some rules.
You've been listening to Your Business Without Borders with Natasha Mitchell. If you're ready to break some rules and create your business without borders, visit Natasha at inspireanddrive.com and download your free business blueprint, or schedule a free business discovery session. You can also follow her on Instagram and Facebook at Inspire and Drive. Come back soon for another episode of Your Business Without Borders. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a review, download an episode, and subscribe. This helps us reach even more people.